Pattaya, Thailand, a bustling city where the glow of neon signs from internet cafes beckons teenagers seeking refuge from the chaotic streets. Two brothers, a 13-year-old and his 8-year-old sibling, stepped into one such cafe. They settled into their usual spots at worn-out computers, immersed in their favorite video games, their faces bathed in the dim glow of the monitors, radiated the joy and innocence of youth. But that tranquility shattered when the older brother felt a gentle tap on his shoulder. Standing nearby was a boy, roughly their age, a stranger with a friendly grin and an eager demeanor. After a few minutes of casual chatter, he dangled an irresistible offer. A friend of his living just around the corner owned a remarkable computer, a gamer's dream, far surpassing the outdated machines they were using, packed with every game imaginable. He was heading there now, but didn't want to go alone. To the brothers obsessed with gaming, this sounded like an adventure too good to pass up. The boy seemed harmless, a peer they could trust, so they followed him through Pattaya's vibrant streets to a rundown apartment building. They climbed 7 flights of a dimly lit staircase and entered a shadowy room. But instead of a gaming paradise, they faced a nightmare. No cutting-edge computer or welcoming friend awaited them. Only a predator, a figure so vile he would later be known as Mr. Swirl, one of the most infamous criminals to haunt the world. In 2004, German police, conducting a routine inspection, stumbled upon an abandoned storage unit in a quiet suburb. Buried under piles of rusting appliances, dusty boxes, and forgotten junk, they found a single hard drive seemingly lost to time. Expecting mundane files, perhaps old documents or family photos, they connected it to a computer. What they uncovered was far worse. Hundreds of images, some showcasing breathtaking landscapes and appetizing meals, but others revealing scenes of unimaginable child abuse. These photos captured acts of heinous sexual violence against minors, far beyond what most could fathom, documenting multiple incidents, including shots of 3 young boys in a dimly lit, dilapidated apartment where sunlight barely crept through heavy curtains. For investigators accustomed to confronting such horrors daily, this was grimly routine, but the discovery might have slipped under the radar, if not for one striking detail. In cases involving child pornography, perpetrators typically avoid appearing in photos to protect their anonymity. But this case was different. The man in these images didn't just fail to hide. He deliberately posed in every frame, even during his atrocities, forever scarring his victims' lives. His identity was concealed only by a digital effect, a swirling distortion that turned his face into a chaotic, pixelated blur, rendering him unrecognizable. His face looked like this. There was a chilling arrogance in his actions, posing alongside his victims, shattering their futures, shielded only by a swirl of color, as if daring any investigator to uncover him. With clear evidence, he was a serial predator, likely still active. His capture became the top priority for law enforcement. They named him Mr. Swirl, and this swirl was the sole barrier to revealing his identity. It seemed like a simple task to unmask him, but reality proved otherwise. Analysis showed the pixels of his face were scrambled in a unique pattern, with no known method to restore them. The most promising clue became an insurmountable obstacle, leaving investigators at a dead end. Recognizing the complexity, German police enlisted Interpol, an international organization dedicated to combating global crime, with a specialized unit focused on protecting children. Interpol dove in, scrutinizing the photos for any hint, background details, building architecture, even street signs that could reveal where they were taken and possibly the perpetrator's origins. But instead of clarity, they faced a new hurdle. The images spanned multiple countries: Cambodia's dusty streets, Vietnam's bustling markets, Thailand's neon-lit alleys, and possibly South Korea's modern cities. Rather than narrowing the search, this widened it. The predator moved across Asia, committing crimes and vanishing before authorities could close in. Mr. Swirl was a phantom, always one step ahead. The investigation, dubbed Operation Vico after Vietnam and Cambodia, its primary crime scenes, uncovered a chilling development. Mr. Swirl's photos weren't confined to that hard drive. Images bearing his signature swirled face surfaced in the dark corners of the internet, closed forums and chat rooms populated by like-minded predators. These images, likely shared by him, circulated in communities where displaying one's face in such content was a badge of honor. This explained his bold presence in the photos. It earned him prestige in his depraved subculture, granting access to more material. Police uncovered hundreds more images, bringing the total to nearly 300, each a grim testament to his crimes. Mr. Swirl seemed untouchable, a ghost evading capture. But these new images offered a breakthrough. In one post, he failed to conceal his IP address, which traced back to Vancouver, Canada. This revealed a connection to the city and suggested he was a sex tourist, exploiting countries with lax laws to abuse children without repercussions. It was a significant step, but an even bigger revelation awaited. An investigator recognized the swirl as a feature of a common editing program, which didn't erase pixels, but rearranged them in a chaotic pattern. In a desperate move, they loaded an image into the software, applied the same effect, and reversed it. In 2007, 3 years after the investigation began, Mr. Swirl's face emerged, as if a veil had been lifted from a ghost. Interpol distributed his image to police databases worldwide, hoping for a match, but he had no criminal record. With time running out, they took a bold step. They urged global media to broadcast his face, enlisting the public's help to catch the predator. The image flooded the internet, social media, news sites, everywhere. And within hours, the story became a global sensation. A local hunt transformed into an international manhunt. Breaking news swept the airwaves. The suspect was a 32-year-old Canadian, Christopher Paul Neal. His face and build matched Mr. Swirl perfectly. He grew up near Vancouver, where the IP was traced, and had roamed Asia, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand. The resemblance was so undeniable that a family member confirmed his identity. It emerged that Neal worked as a children's English teacher, likely using his position to lure victims from his classes. He also manipulated children to draw in others, as with the brothers from the cafe. His MySpace page bore a chilling note: "Asia's my home. Will I ever leave?" Most shocking was that he uploaded his material from his brother's laptop during a brief visit home, deflecting suspicion. When identified, he was teaching in South Korea, but fled after seeing his face plastered in the news. He was spotted at Bangkok's airport, seeking refuge in Thailand. Police tracked him to an abandoned house in a remote area, where he hid like a cornered animal. The years-long hunt for Mr. Swirl ended. Thai authorities charged him with assaulting the cafe boys, the only crime provable in their jurisdiction, sentencing him to 5 years. Many deemed it lenient, but the plan was to transfer him to Canada for further prosecution, hoping Cambodia and Vietnam would follow, ensuring a lifetime behind bars. Yet, in 2012, after deportation to Canada, a shocking decision was made. Neal was set free. Foreign. Canadian authorities released him with strict conditions: no internet access, no visits to schools or parks, and registration as a sex offender. The decision stunned many. It stemmed from his crimes being international, with no other victims coming forward, preventing other countries from pursuing charges. Since he committed no crimes on Canadian soil, the law was powerless. The hunt for Mr. Swirl lasted nearly as long as his brief imprisonment. In 2013, Neil violated his conditions, acquiring a computer and internet access. He claimed it was for writing a memoir, but police found 25 new images, 2 featuring his signature swirl. In messages to a friend, he boasted, "The swirl lives on," revealing no remorse and pride in his infamy. Worse, a friend taught him to navigate the dark web, enabling untraceable sharing. Arrested again, authorities had a chance to correct their earlier mistake. Yet, the court handed down a mere 5.5-year sentence, with time served reducing it to just over a year. Prosecutors hailed it as a victory, and Neil vowed reform, but it rang hollow. By 2016, Christopher Neil, responsible for countless acts of child abuse, lived freely in Vancouver. Access to the dark web meant he could continue his activities, hidden from justice. This case leaves a bitter taste. Interpol's remarkable efforts turned a local investigation into a global operation, but the feeble punishment undermined it all. Knowing that a man who shattered so many lives walks free fuels a deep sense of injustice.